May is Stroke Awareness Month. Nearly 800,000 people in the U.S. experience a stroke each year, and it's one of the leading causes of disability in the world.
So Marshall Health neurologist Dr. Kath Thornton is here to tell us more about what strokes are and how to prevent them. I think a lot of people say, oh, I know, they've had relatives who have been through this before, friends. Sometimes, you've been through it yourself.
Right.
But not everybody is really knowledgeable, especially about what presents as a stroke. And that's really one of the things you guys really want to get across.
Yeah, so the complicated part of stroke is that they don't all look the same.
Right.
So the key is any symptom that starts suddenly is a problem.
Okay.
It can involve weakness. It can be a change in sensation, so numbness or even tingling. A change in your speech can be a problem.
Yeah. But
really, anything that starts suddenly, it's very important that we get immediate care.
So as soon as something seems different or abnormal in our daily routine, and we're really not sure, I guess we just need to come in as soon as possible because every second counts.
Yeah. So the big point is that for us, time is brain.
Yeah.
So if you have a symptom that starts suddenly, the most important thing you can do is seek emergent care and give us the ability to treat.
Okay.
So there are things that we can do in that first period of time when stroke symptoms start that we can't do if you come in too late.
Right.
So, and the hope with those treatments is that ultimately the issues you're left with in the end are much less. We have patients who get complete resolution of symptoms because they got to us fast enough.
Oh, that's incredible.
So there are two things that we can do quickly. One is a medication. It's basically a really strong blood thinner.
Okay.
You have to be evaluated within 4 hours to receive that. The other thing we can do is if there's a blood clot that we can go for and pull out, we can do that. The big window is 24 hours, but honestly, the faster you get to the hospital, the faster we treat you, the less brain is affected, and that changes everything.
Do you see that as one of the problems is that people go, I just have this thing in my eye, I don't know what that is, and then they just overdid it. It mimics other things, and so people just. It's not that they're like, oh, forget it. They just think that maybe they have something else.
Yeah, and something that we hear too often is someone will develop a symptom that's different, that's new. It's not necessarily severe, and what they do is they go to bed and they just are going to see how they feel in the morning. And by the time they come in, it's either worse or it's the same, but there's so much less that I can do about it. Whereas if they had come in the night before, we could have potentially completely eliminated that symptom.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so who's most at risk? Is this something that older people with underlying health conditions should be more concerned about, or could this happen even young, healthy people?
So it can happen to any age. There are some, more rare causes of stroke. So there's no age that is restricted from stroke happening. It is more common in an older population, but it's patients who have certain risk factors, so things that predispose you to stroke: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, smoking is a huge one, unhealthy diets, all these things, lack of exercise. So one of the biggest things that we try to educate people on, especially after a stroke, the best thing you can do is manage all of those risk factors. So working with your primary care doctor to keep all of those things in check, you're going to dramatically reduce your risk of having stroke.
Yeah, all those sound doable.
They sound doable, and then you look at that list right there, and it all sounds doable. Unfortunately, we know a lot of people aren't keeping up with what's on that list right there, and then they're more at risk. But the main thing is, as you're talking about, it's that time. I mean, you've got to get
time is brain.
Yep, time is brain. Remember that.
Let everybody know real quickly about the Marshall Health Network Stroke Care Centers if they want more information.
So we manage stroke both at Cabell Huntington Hospital and at St. Mary's Medical Center. We have really the same providers at both locations, so you can be treated at both. St. Mary's does have a distinction that Cabell, we're working on it, we will get there with Cabell, but St. Mary's is actually considered a comprehensive stroke center, so that means it has a national accreditation for stroke care, meaning it has met criteria to say that it's, you know, one of the top-notch facilities.
Nice that we have that right here in our area. Well, thanks so much for sharing
Dr.
this
Kat
with
Thornton.
us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's great information. It's life-saving information. All right, as we go to